day. If it is your first time tuning into our channel here on YouTube, then basically I'd like to introduce myself quickly. So I am Anton Meerkotter, known as Coach Anton from Coach Anton PTY Ltd, and also for our channel Coach Anton, where we're talking about sports mental coaching. Now at the moment, over the last couple of weeks or even the last 2 odd months, we've been busy with a series on how to use sports mental coaching. Now, a lot of people have given me very positive feedback on what they've learned from it, and we are not even halfway, but we are through the main frameworks of it all. So we have now entered the phase where we're going into the actual subtopics, which will obviously take a lot longer. Now, the subtopics on individual aspects are shorter each, but in total, the duration over which we will actually be laying out these videos will obviously take longer in the first few. The first few videos was basically the framework of our series, which were on how to use sports mental coaching for the individual player, how to use it for team management, how to use it in youth development, how to use it for a technical team. We looked at coaching the coach, and then also we looked at the vicious cycle of frustration, which included the solution of the vicious cycle of frustration, or how to overcome the vicious cycle of frustration. Now, that one had quite a lot of attraction out there. For a simple reason, I've never released that information publicly out there. So a lot of people have been running to that. I've been getting a lot of feedback on that. It's really positive. If you have not seen it, I recommend you go and have a look at it as well. At this moment, there should be a link at the top. There will also be a link in our description if you first want to look through this, and then go and have a look at it afterwards. Now, in our topic today, we are busy on the actual individual player aspect still, and in our topic today we're looking at social, cultural and environmental impact on your game. So what does that basically involve for the player? When you're going onto the field, it is logic in the modern game especially, and as the world is busy progressing further and further, which I love by the way, we are seeing so many more cultures going into the very same team and playing together and actually exercising or participating in sports together. Now, if you are playing amateur, where this might just be a bit of exercise for you, maybe it's a casual game out there, or you actually playing professional, this is still useful for you and for each and every one. Now, when we go look at the social first and how that impacts us, all right. Your social environment is very linked to your character as well, and I'm going to touch on it briefly, where whether you introvert or extrovert can play a big role in this as well, how you respond to different social environments. So if you, for example, are an introvert, that does not mean that you cannot find yourself enjoying a space amongst friends, which sometimes is a confusing part. All right, being an introvert simply means you draw your energy from being in solitary or quiet spaces, whereas an extrovert draw their energy from spending it with people. So that doesn't mean one can't have qualities of the other. So don't mistake that again, but the key aspect that differentiates it is where you draw your energy from. Now, if you go and look at the environment of a social impact out there, you, for example, might have the team having some fun event, and you might not really like it because it's not quite like you, all right? And if that's too close to your game, that might have a negative impact on your game. If it's not close to the game, I encourage you to actually partake in that and start building some more friendships with your team, so you can really improve your relationships amongst the team and the teammates itself as well, from all different cultures, of course. Now, if you go look at the social aspect there, some cultures are also more extrovert than others as well. I take in our African cultures, right? Our African cultures have got a lot of singing in the change room before they actually go out there. All right. So here's a bit of social, cultural clashes that you're looking at. The one person might not really like this space because it actually takes him out of the frame of mind he wants to be in to prepare himself or get himself ready for the game. For another player, this might actually be beneficial because it hypes him up, takes his mind away from whatever is happening from outside, and let him focus on the game after that with a lot of energy. And therefore, this is not something I would discourage from happening, but at the same time, I won't force players to partake because some players draw energy from not partaking in it, whilst others draw energy from partaking in it. What's important is that all the players get to respect each other and respect each other's space and encourage each other to participate, but not force each other to participate. All right. So from a social perspective, you can also look at obviously going out. I'm someone who are not a big fan of going out close to a game because that can be a negative space. However, that doesn't mean that you can't have fun prior to the game. Maybe you could have fun as a team, maybe playing some pool together or having some fun in that sense, table tennis games or something else while you may be out in a hotel or wherever you may be in camp prior to your game. Now, if you go look at the cultural influence and how that can impact you, well, that's quite a lot, and I want to touch more on that. If we go look at a player who comes from a culture that maybe have an environment where when you look someone in the eyes, all right, it is disrespectful, as opposed to being from a culture where if you look someone in the eyes, it's an actual respect. All right, now you get your different cultures out there. Of course, you got some cars out here in the background. Yes, I'm in my garden in our yard, so sorry about that noise. Let's go back to that. Right, so if you're basically from a culture where you might have a respect issue, actually where looking in the eyes is disrespectful, versus a culture where looking in the eyes is showing respect when guys are communicating with each other. Someone is talking to you. All right, so those both exist, believe it or not. Those from the Western world will think, what, really? Yes, of course, that do exist. In some African cultures, that definitely exists. All right, so you've got to understand that those aspects come into play on the field. And if you don't understand it, when you communicate with each other, maybe your coach is communicating with you, then you might struggle with that because you might be clashing even in culture there. And need to respect each other and receive a perspective or middle ground where you guys can actually work from and agree to disagree or agree to do stuff differently if necessary. However, it is important to also build and create a team culture. And team cultures protect you from a lot of these type of environments because it kind of put everyone into the same box, where now you've actually got to do stuff the way the team has been doing it. All right, it might be routine for a team to do stuff in a specific order or a specific way. And I recommend you actually have a look at that and respect it as well as we go through that. All right, so that is that aspect. Now, looking at our next one. All right, I'm going to move a little bit away from the culture. I'll come back to it because I believe it touches for environmental as well. So in terms of environmental, we're going to be looking at different environments out there. And I spoke earlier about your character and everything playing a role in your social, but it also plays a role in how you respond to environmental. And environmental can be very different. And it goes from training ground all the way through to actual match performance. And let me use a classical example. A player who enjoys his running might really not have enjoyed lockdown, because in lockdown you didn't have space to do a lot of running per se in terms of skill work while running. But someone who actually enjoys just doing a lot of ball mastery and working with the ball in a small space, doing quick fitness moves and not really going all over the show, but still working on fitness, because after all you can do cardiovascular exercises in your garden or even in a 4x4 meter space, right, which could be a room. Now, if you go look at that, those players didn't necessarily have a negative impact coming from lockdown. So that's just an example, looking at our current scenario. If you're watching this long after lockdown, well, be reminded there was a time like that we had to go through, which is right now, unfortunately. Right, so a lot of soccer is going back to participating right now. Now, you might be a player who environmental aspects, because of your character, had a lot of benefits before, because there would be a lot of people in the stadium watching you and cheering you on, and you enjoy playing for the crowd because maybe you're more of an extrovert. Now, that might be a great scenario for you as a player. But what about now, when all of a sudden the stadium is empty? That's gone. So you're going to need to think of other skills and other aspects to use and start thinking of stuff like visualizing crowd. All right? And I'm serious about it. You can actually visualize a crowd to help motivate you to play for the crowd. After all, there'll still be cameras in most cases, and the cameras will still be viewing this to your supporters afterwards to celebrate right there and then, as if the crowd was there, would thus still be great, because you guys at home will feel like they actually went to the stadium. All right, so think about that as you go out there in the field. Don't suddenly behave different just because of that, because that might actually impact your game. Now, when you look at the environmental aspects as well, some other things I would like to go to, and where you combine a bit of the social, cultural, and environmental, is things like a parent coming to visit or watch a game. They might not exactly understand what that player is going through on the field, all right, or what the coach told the player to do in that game. And just because the player is doing stuff differently, they start getting frustrated and shouting comments by chance, and the player starts making mistakes, and the next thing he's got a coach on his back on the other side. Now, I've seen this especially at youth level. Now, I'm speaking about a parent. I've seen cases where it goes beyond that, all right? It could be a player going to an actual game at pro level where his girlfriend or partner and family are sitting in the stands, and they're actually watching this, and he wants to impress, and that actually leads to him making mistakes. All right, to the point that I've told players to actually ignore it when they've got someone in the stands if they don't draw energy from it. All right, so they've got to go on and actually block it out and get themselves into what we call the zone, so that they can focus on the moment where they are participating in, rather at having everything else distracting them as well. So that's a key point as well. And yes, that's another skill you can use in that scenario, is getting yourself into the zone so that your mindset is all focused on the game. Your concentration is all on the game, and actually picking up performance because of the high level of concentration at that specific frame of mind. Now, while we're busy with this, there's so many other skills I've mentioned, and I will be coming back to that as well. But I would really love to know from you what else you would like to know about in this regard, since I can post other short videos related to this, calling them maybe part 2 or part 3, responding to your comments. So down below in the comment section, please go ahead, put your comments there, put your questions there. If there's anything you have discussed that really prompted your thinking and you liked it, also share that so other people can see it as well. And if there's others you think you benefit from this video, please go ahead and share this video as well. As from my side though, from the Coach Anton channel as well, we'd like to thank everyone that has been loyal and supporting our channel. That has made it possible for us to obviously stay focused, stay encouraged, and stay under pressure to keep producing our videos regularly as well, at least once a week, as we promised from the beginning. Right, from my side though, I've enjoyed this journey, and I'm glad that many of you get to enjoy this journey with me as well. That's it from me. I'm Coach Anton from Coach Anton PTY Ltd. And remember, subscribe, like, and sharing is scary. Alright, great. If you've just seen this video, of course, I'm Anton Meerkotter, known as Coach Anton, and would like to thank you for watching this video. Now, as to other aspects, if you're interested in our professional services, we do offer professional services as well. In the event if you're wanting to use that, please look at the description below, and you will find our contact details there where you can get a hold of us so we can actually prepare a customized package for you. For that is what we specialize in, doing customized packages and doing mental coaching to our players in a way that gets the best results for them as individuals or as a team, in the event of our customer being the actual team. All right, that's it from my side, and hope you had a great time out there, and hope to see you again soon. Enjoy your day.